I was in an abusive relationship, and we had one really big fight where he actually went to jail. And then I found out I was pregnant shortly after that, like within a few days. So I knew it wasn't going to be a good situation for me to handle. That's when I was actually looking to, for lack of better words, terminate the pregnancy. So I called Planned Parenthood. They were going to charge me a fee that I wasn't able to pay at the time. So they actually referred me here to Riverside Life Services. So surprisingly, I didn't know Planned Parenthood does that. But when I got here, it's like, this is really nice, and it's kind of a calming environment. It seemed like I was being taken care of rather than just another patient just trying to get them in and out. Yeah, seeing his heartbeat, and that's all he was. He was just a tiny little heart and it was just flickering. And I remember being told, like, oh, that's a strong heartbeat. And like inside I was like, oh, because part of me actually, and it sounds terrible, but part of me wanted something to be wrong. It wanted to be an ectopic pregnancy, something where it wasn't viable, so I didn't have to make the decision to terminate. It would just be done for me, like, okay, there's no choice in the matter. But actually seeing him, I was still saying I was going to terminate, but I knew deep down I couldn't after that, because I couldn't. There was just something inside of me that changed. Financially or emotionally, I'm just not in the right spot. So I knew it wouldn't be fair to him for me to try and raise him on my own without too much support or me being really fully ready. So I chose a family that is ready and is more than ready and more than capable of taking him in. The adopted mom was there in the delivery room with me. It was her on one side and my mom on the other side. And it was actually the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed. And I thought it would be a lot harder than it was. But basically, he came out and he was placed on my chest for a couple of seconds, and then I said, okay, send him over. And I had the adopted mom, I held her hand for a few seconds because she was just sobbing. Yeah. And so I look up at her, he's over on the other side. I'm like, do you want to go over there? And she's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, go ahead. And so she's just crying, and it's the happiest tears I've ever seen. She can't take her eyes off of him, and I couldn't take my eyes off of her. And I was just smiling, and I looked over at her and I said, I don't regret this at all. It was definitely the most beautiful thing I've ever done, been a part of, seen. Like, that's a moment I won't ever forget. I used to think I didn't want kids, actually. That's the funny part. I really didn't want them until I had Jonas. So one day, when it's with the right person and it's the right time, one day I'll get married and I'll have kids of my own. I never thought I would be the person to say that, but I don't know. I want to have a house with a loving husband and have like little footprints on the floor and just embrace that part of life. If you're going to be a birth mom, any kind of handout that's there to help you is a huge deal. So having Riverside Life Services there, even if it was just a phone call saying, hey, I'm just wondering how you're doing, because you'll fall into patches where you don't feel like you're that great of a person. Even when you have a bunch of people telling you, oh, what you're doing is such a selfless thing, it's really hard to not fall into, I'm placing my child, who does this? So just having someone there to check up on you every once in a while is like a breath of fresh air, honestly. And that's what Riverside Life Services did for me. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them, for sure. Well, thank you for helping me with everything with the pregnancy, and actually from the bottom of my heart, really, thank you.
Of course.
You made a huge difference in my life.
I love you.
I love you too.